It's a rainy, wet Labor Day weekend in Ottawa, Ontario as we celebrate the long weekend. Everyone's enjoying relaxing for one last time before fall comes around. As your Ottawa Fury FC take on St. Louis FC in a big battle in the playoffs. Jenna Mosier alongside me, Tyler McDonald and Julian de Guzman, the new head coach of Ottawa Fury FC, got a full week's training with his squad this week, and he had something to say about his matchup coming up against St. Louis.
They're a hard-working team. I mean, these guys are going to play, for the entire game. They won't stop running. We're very familiar with their intentions, and obviously we're both fighting for the same spot right now. So this is pretty much a playoff game for us.
Obviously, these next few games coming up are huge for Ottawa Fury to try to get that push into the last playoff position, the couple last playoff positions. At home against St. Louis, who is just a point above them in the standings. How big is this game for Ottawa Fury?
Right now the players, and I think for the last two games, they've been treating every single game as a playoff game. We're not quite in the playoffs yet, but that's how you got to treat it. The good thing going into this weekend's game is that we're coming off an incredible win. The momentum from that last 4-minute, goal is exactly what they need, and hopefully they can carry that momentum over into the beginning of this game and get off on a really strong start.
Yeah, that 2-2 against New York Red Bulls too was one for the dramatics at TD Place, and got all the fans very excited and hoping for that playoff push. And we're going to see something because Ottawa Fury does like to have their pitch a little wet. They like to have the ball moving. So talk about the conditions they're going to be facing. It's been raining all day here at TD Place and how that's going to try and push the pace of this game.
Well, the one thing about the rain today is it's been kind of misty, right? So that ball's going to skip a lot, take lots of shots on the ground. Callum Irving is going to have to be body behind every single ball because this is one of those games where you never know what will happen.
We'll take a quick break, though. When we come back, we'll have Graham Ivory and AJ Jack back on the call in this one. Ottawa Fury FC versus St. Louis FC. This is Ottawa Fury FC Soccer.
McCrary inside the 18. Just outside the box! And just like that, the Toronto FC2 have taken their first lead. Jordan Hamilton has scored. Trying to come back on it is Gardner. San Antonio FC Tierpak, and it's 1-0. Well done as Tierpak delivers from just inside the 18-yard line.
Off to Haber. Haber's going to take a shot and a goal from the exact same spot as his free kick last week against Swope. Daniel Haber with a beautiful goal there in the 18th minute of play to level things up.
Great looking goal here a few weeks back. A nice run in and was able to just blast one into the back of the net. But
Johnny!
Oh, there it is, John.
Sonny Johnny from the top of the box. A team that has so seldom gotten the bounce this season got one there. We are level at 1.
Swanson, and the header is in. It's a goal. A goal for Pittsburgh, and a beautiful play and a tremendous finish by Corey Herzog. He was the man that we had in the spotlight to start the game, and Herzog with the finish.
And Pittsburgh did what they critically needed to do.
And welcome back inside TD Place here in Ottawa. AJ Jakubek, Graham Ivory with you as we get set for this one today between Ottawa Fury FC and St. Louis FC. And Graham, an important game for both teams. Both teams would say they need 3 points here today.
Yeah, and it's that time of year where every game becomes a must-win for those teams outside of the playoff picture looking in. And with just 1 point separating Ottawa and St. Louis, it really is must-win for both sides. Ottawa with a game in hand on those teams are going to fight for 7 and 8. So a huge game for Julian de Guzman's side.
Let's have a look at the starting 11 for both sides. And it's brought to you by Gabriel's Pizza, Ottawa's bigger, better pizza. Gabriel's Pizza, 310-7777. And for Ottawa, the 3-4-3 with Callum Irving in goal. It's Shane McElhaney, Ramon Martin Del Campo, Onwo Bassi at the back. Midfield, you've got Jonathan Barden, Andre Campbell, Sergio Minicio, and Gerardo Bruna. And up front, Tucker Hume, Steven DeSantos, and Carl Howard. So, Graham, Ottawa going with a couple of big men up front in DeSantos and Hume, rather than Cito, who starts on the bench.
Yeah, a couple of changes for Ottawa this afternoon, and we see Onwo Bassi getting that start in at left back, the first start that we've seen from the 6'4" Englishman since back on the 17th of June in Rochester. So great to have him back in the starting fold. Tucker Hume, his first start since the 5th of August, so almost a month between starts, albeit we've seen him come off the bench frequently during the last month. But definitely going with some of the bigger bodies up front. And when you look at some of the defense for St. Louis FC and Plua and Cochran, 6'3", the two of those players, some added height needed for Ottawa in attack.
Quick long throw here in the first minute for Ottawa. Looking to pick out Hume is Carl Howard. Free kick given to St. Louis FC as we have a look at the starting 11 for them. Davala Goric, a very familiar face in these parts. Started 14 games the inaugural Fury season, mainly in the spring and early fall before the arrival of Romuald Pézère. Back four features Ryan Howe, Tony Walls, Conrad Pleva, and Austin Ledbetter. In midfield, it's Mats Bjurman, Ivan Mirkovic, AJ Cochran, and Sebastian Dalgard. And the strikers are Daniel Jackson and Christian Voleski. On the bench for Ottawa, David Palmain, Kyle Venter, Eddie Edward. Nice to see him back with the club training this week, and certainly playing with a heavy heart after the passing of his father, Fred. Jamar Dixon, Cito, Adonijah Reed, and Azake Lubayera round out the 7 subs for Ottawa. It's Adam Grinwis, Tyler David, Milan Pitasevic, Tyler Feely, Wesley Sharpie, Amir Alihodzic, and Seth Rudolph on the bench for St. Louis. Fury moving left to right in this first half with their home red kits. Red shirts, red shorts, red socks, and in the away whites, it is St. Louis, and they're moving right to left in the first half. As Graham, you've got the keys to an Ottawa victory.
Well, 3 keys to a must-win victory, AJ, for Ottawa Fury FC. Key number 1, score first and score more than once. Fury FC, 7 wins, 4 draws, 1 loss when they score first this season, but have yet to win in 2017 when they've conceded first. So Ottawa 4-3-1 when scoring 2 or more goals this season. Their only loss came against this very St. Louis FC side, 3-2, back to open the 2017 USL season on the 1st of April. Key number 2, a 90-plus minute performance. With their playoff aspirations hanging in the balance here this afternoon, there's little margin for error. Ottawa must be switched on for 90 minutes plus this afternoon. And key number 3, win the second ball. At both ends of the pitch, Ottawa must win the second balls in this match. We saw that go against their way for the most part against New York last weekend in that 2-2 draw. Ottawa needs to win it both in their own half and around the penalty area in St. Louis's box, and those are the 3 keys to an Ottawa victory this afternoon.
4th minute, 0-0 here at a rainy TD Place this afternoon. And we'll get to the standings momentarily, but certainly Ottawa controls their own destiny, but needing wins with 8 games remaining here in the season as Fury look to push forward, but Tucker Hume's ball doesn't get to Carl Howarth, and St. Louis in possession now. It's Bjurman. Center circle. Plays this ahead for Dalgard. Back to Mirkovic. That goes wide right. Stepping up, Jackson. And now it's played wide left here for Dalgard. Sends it towards the Ottawa goal, and Callum Irving with no trouble there. As Andre Campbell plays this ball forward, headed back by AJ Cochran. And Cochran will leave it for his keeper, and it comes ahead here on the left for Ryan Howe. Howe sends this forward, and this is going to be handled easily by Callum Irving. Fury come into this one in 12th place in the 15-team USL East. 29 points. They are 6 back of the teams holding down the 2 final playoff spots in the East in New York Red Bulls 2 and FC Cincinnati. They do have better goal difference than New York. They're even on goal difference with Cincinnati. So 2 wins with their 2 games at hand on both teams would put them into 7th. Although you do have Bethlehem Steel also with an opportunity. At worst, if Bethlehem Steel won their game in hand on Red Bulls 2 and Cincinnati, at worst you'd be 8th, but you win your games in hand, you're in the top 8 at the very least with 6 matches left, and this is a huge game. I mean, St. Louis 11th in the table. They're 1 up on Ottawa. They've played 1 more game. A point really doesn't do either team a lot of good today. Doesn't kill either team, but I think both teams looking for 3 as it's sent across and headed high. That ball coming across from Dalgard, and it was headed over the bar by Conrad Pleva. And so St. Louis with a glorious opportunity as Pleva with a free header from 6 yards out, and he put it over the bar.
Yeah, that looked like a very well-rehearsed play by St. Louis FC, something right off the training ground, and they were almost awarded with an opening goal inside the opening 6 minutes. 6-0 for Pleva, sending the header over the bar. But to your point on the standings, AJ, you're right. A draw does little for either team. If anything, it keeps you in the playoff picture, but it also means that you're going to need a lot of help on the way and really destiny out of your own hands, whereas a win today for either side, and you're certainly putting yourself in a forward position trying to make up that game in hand, at least where Ottawa is concerned, chasing down one of those final remaining postseason spots. But as the week went, most of the results you could say went in Ottawa's favor, with St. Louis drawing midweek against Toronto, and then Cincinnati and Pittsburgh yesterday, that one ending in a draw. Orlando Bethlehem, they drew on Thursday night. It was a surprising result for New York Red Bulls, 4-2 winners over the Tampa Bay Rowdies. That's probably the one result that didn't go in their favor. And now Tampa Bay starting to fall out of that top 3, top 4 where they've been perched for a majority of this season.
Yeah, and really the top 4 look pretty much safe when it comes to playoff positioning. Louisville and Charlotte on 47 each. Charleston and Rochester on 41. Tampa Bay looked like they're in a good spot, 38 points, but they're not done and dusted yet. 4 points up on 9th. And then Orlando on 36, New York and Cincinnati on 35 each. After Campbell was fouled, free kick Ottawa, and Del Campo, who scored that tying goal late against New York Red Bulls 2 last week, gets his head to that one, but plays it wide of the far post, and it will be a goal kick here for St. Louis FC as we enter the 9th minute at TD Place, 0-0.
Yeah, good win on the header there by Ramon Martin Del Campo. Just very quickly moving off his mark and able to get up for the header, but missing wide at the back post, although don't think it was at close enough range that it would have troubled Davala Goric.
Goric with the goal kick here for St. Louis, and this will drift all the way to his counterpart at the other end, Callum Irving. Del Campo sends it forward. Bruna back to Irving. Fury with 2 road games after this, and still looking for their first win under interim head coach and GM Julian de Guzman. 2 losses and 2 draws so far for Fury since the change at the top. Visiting Rochester and Charlotte the next 2 matches, so teams that are 4th and 2nd in USL East. That again makes this one so important here today to try and get 3 points and then just pick off some points, whatever you can, on the road.
5 wins, 5 draws, 2 losses at TD Place. You can add 2 more wins if you include their performance in the Canadian Championship, but you certainly like the fact that you've only fell to defeat twice at home this season, both by a 1-goal margin. But what you prefer to see is a few more of those draws turn into victories, and you can think of a couple of them coming in stoppage time to earn the single point. But in these remaining 4 home matches, today included, 3 points are a must from those remaining home contests.
Minicio wins this ball for Ottawa, and here's Gerardo Bruna in possession inside the Fury half. Back to Obasi. Now to the keeper, Irving, 11th minute, 0-0. He'll launch it into the air. Hume goes up for it, flicks it on, and St. Louis able to win possession. It comes back to the keeper, Gorick. Plays this near touch line, and this will be an Ottawa throw. Reminder that every Monday, unless it's a holiday of course, Ottawa's premier soccer show looks at the world of soccer, from local club teams to Ottawa Fury FC, the beautiful game across Europe and around the globe. That's Corner Kicks Mondays at 6 on TSN 1200, unless it's a holiday weekend, like Labor Day weekend. And in that case, it'll go Tuesday at 7 o'clock on TSN 1200.
There you go. Getting close to your bedtime.
Oh, I'm rested. 12th minute, 0-0 as St. Louis pushes forward just inside the Ottawa half. Dalgard's ball met by Onwo Obasi, and Fury will look to counter. Dos Santos for Bruna. Carl Howarth. St. Louis able to get stuck in here, but unable to keep this in play was Ryan Howe. Quick throw, and they're going to say handball off of Carl Howarth off the Barden throw. Free kick to St. Louis FC.
There's a new face on the Fury FC bench this afternoon. Victor Opong debuts as assistant coach, as the club announced the signing of a new assistant coach yesterday afternoon. He's a UEFA B licensed coach, has spent the last 15 years playing and coaching in Germany. He is Canadian, from same hometown as Julian de Guzman, Scarborough, Ontario. He's featured for Canada internationally at under 20 and under 23, including the 2001 under 20 World Cup, and has been, since retiring in 2013, has been coaching in Germany. So we welcome Victor to the nation's capital.
Certainly a very impressive CV. 13th minute throw here for Ottawa inside their own half.
Narrowly edged AJ Jackie back in the running for the open, the vacant assistant's position.
No, I still haven't nailed Football Manager yet, so. if I can't lead Nigeria to the World Cup in Football Manager, how am I going to help Ottawa Fury?
Well, there's that, isn't there?
Here in the 14th minute, 0-0. It's Dalgard in possession for St. Louis. Comes middle of the park, and here's Bjurman. Wide left to Howe. Sent out a touch by Barden, and it'll be a St. Louis throw.
You can tell from both sides, and more so from the visitors already inside the opening 14 minutes, still trying to adjust to the pace of the ball along the slick surface with rain falling overnight.
Ooh, here's a giveaway, and now Dos Santos has Hume with him. Hume to his right, and that ball looked like it caromed off an arm, but referee says play on. And St. Louis dodges a bullet there as they push it forward to Dalgard. Able to beat Bruna, and he's got a lot of space in front of him. Dalgard from 30 yards out, and stepping up to close him down was Obasi. As St. Louis regroups just inside their own half. Ground ball forward towards Valesky. And he's called for a foul. Free kick, Ottawa Fury FC, as Ramon Martin del Campo was knocked to the ground. I'm not sure there was much there. That's a tough one to give on watching the replay. You'd have to slow that down into slow motion, and when you're a referee trailing the play, I can't fault him for not giving that on the potential handball and the opportunity with DeSantos trying to get it across for Tucker Hume. The problem was it was played basically right into the middle of his body. So it's not like it hit a flailing arm and it wasn't going to hit his body. But it is a free kick here for Ottawa. And this will come from 35 yards out. Close to the near touch line. It'll be Bruna stepping up, delivering with his left foot. Oh, getting his head to that. It was Onwell Bassi. Great delivery curled in there by Gerardo Bruna, and Obasi put it towards goal and forced Gorick into a save as St. Louis wins a throw near touchline, 17th minute, 0-0.
Yeah, great delivery from Gerardo Bruna. Good touch by Onwell Obasi to get in behind the white shirts.
And here they are again. It's Hume with a left-footed shot, and that took a deflection off Pleva, and Gorick able to gather it easily.
But for an opportunity like that, Obasi, if he was going for the back post, needed to get it a little bit closer to the outside of the goal or a bit more power on it. Either way, good opportunity nonetheless for Ottawa, and Onwell Obasi again showing how he can be a threat for Fury FC with that 6'4" frame that looks more dangerous on the ground than it is in the air.
Here's Campbell now for Ottawa. And he'll slow it back and put it to the center circle where McElhaney plays it wide right for Barden. McElhaney now for Minicio. Del Campo. Bruna. Linking up as Howarth gets this to McElhaney. Ahead for Bruna. And he wins an Ottawa throw here, 18th minute, 0-0.
Fury FC starting to seem a lot more passes together, working their way through the middle and trying to get it out wide. 8 of the 11 starters this afternoon were part of the starting 11 when these two teams met to open Ottawa's USL inaugural season. For St. Louis, 7 of the 11 starting today started in that match.
It was a 3-2 St. Louis win. They scored late.
Yeah, it was an own goal from Sergio Minicio in the 88th minute that overturned an impressive comeback from Ottawa, who found themselves down 2-0 after just 9 minutes. Eddie Edward pulled Ottawa back 2-1 in the 11th minute, and then it wasn't until the 83rd when Onwell Bassi scored to pull Ottawa level. Shane McElhaney also sent off in that match for a foul in stoppage time.
Here's McElhaney for Ottawa. Center circle, Bruna. Obasi ahead for Howarth. He has some space in front of him. Howarth 30 yards out, plays this wide right. Barden with the cross, and it is off a thigh right to Campbell. He gives it a go, and oh, good effort from Andre Campbell right at the edge of the St. Louis penalty area. Just missed the near post, and that goes out for a goal kick.
Good work by Ottawa there. Carl Howard drawing some attention. Decent delivery there from John Barden. And Andre Campbell you know that he's due for a goal sooner or later, and he did not miss by much on that left-footed effort that he had the top corner labeled, but just sent it wide.
Goal kick in the 20th minute, 0-0 here at TD Place, but opportunities at both ends. As Barden gets this forward on the right side. Too far for Howarth. It'll be a St. Louis throw. Reminder that Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. Barden steps up, gets a piece of that, but here's Pleva for St. Louis. Wide right, Ledbetter. Now Pleva. To the keeper, Gorick. High into the air, Minicio heads this back. It comes center circle, Jackson. St. Louis works this wide left for Howe. Trying to pick out Jackson. It's headed away by McElhaney. Jackson. 2 red shirts on him. They're calling the foul on Minicio. And a free kick here in the Ottawa half. Near touchline, closer to the halfway line. St. Louis pushes bodies forward. Ryan Howe will take this, delivers with his left foot. Headed clear. There's Tucker Hume back with the header for Ottawa as it comes all the way back to Gorick. Sends this high into the air. 2 St. Louis players collided there, Cochran and Dalgard, and Dalgard was the one who fell. And now McElhaney has fouled. Free kick Ottawa inside the Fury half.
Yusri Rudolph having a conversation with Christian Valesky after that late challenge on Shane McElhaney. So that's the second player warned now after Ryan Howe, I believe, was warned after the earlier foul on John Barden a couple minutes ago.
Referee Yusri Rudolph, assistants Philippe Betez-Kwesi and Peter Penley, the 4th official Pierre-Luc Lausière. Bruna plays it back to Irving in the Ottawa goal. Midway point of the first half, 0-0 here at TD Place. This Howarth gets the ball from John Barden on the right. Howarth with the cross, and Santos couldn't get to that. It's a good defensive play there.
That was a great delivery from Carl Howarth, head up the whole way. And you knew DeSantos was his target. And he's the man with the hot boot right now for Ottawa. Leads the team in scoring with 6 goals. Has scored in 3 straight contests for Ottawa. And they'll likely need one from him again this afternoon.
Barden as well to get it off of Howe, but A.J. Cochran, the former Houston Dynamo player, sends this back into the Ottawa half, and Fury will attack again left to right as Bruna plays it for Campbell, cuts inside. Good work from Andre Campbell. Campbell with a cross, and it just didn't get to Tucker Hume. Now Del Campo for McElhaney, wide right Barden. Near touchline, he whips in a cross, and Gorick comes off his line to grab that with a couple of Ottawa players, including Tucker Hume, lurking.
Nice cut in by Andre Campbell to skin his man, but I think the better option would have been to playing that to the top of the 18 where he had Carl Howarth making the run down the middle completely in space. Both Hume and DeSantos look well marked on the play.
Jackson for Valesky, he went down, was looking for a foul, not getting it as Irving takes over. You can stay up to date with all the latest league news and information and keep up with some of the game's top talent and rising stars by visiting uslsoccer.com, or you can follow them on Twitter at USL. As here's DeSantos for Ottawa, 25 yards out, lays it off on the left. Campbell, can he get to the byline? And who do they say this went off last? St. Louis it is, an Ottawa corner from the far corner flag in the 25th minute, 0-0. Bruna will take this as Fury push Bassi and Howarth inside the 6-yard box and 4 other players inside the 18. Here's the delivery, left-footed outswinger from Bruna. Looking to get his head onto that was Hume. It comes back to Barden. He'll whip in across. No, he plays it into the middle for McElhaney. Plays it just inside the 18, cleared away, chested down now by McElhaney, but St. Louis does gain possession, and now Howarth called for the foul as Mirkovic went down. Free kick St. Louis inside their own half.
Just one win in their last 7 games away from home for St. Louis FC. AJ, a win, 1 draw, 5 losses. 5 goals for, 13 goals against. This is a team that, well, statistically haven't scored a ton of goals this season. In their 25 games, just 27 goals. And if you take out a couple of big scoring games, they're averaging less than a goal a game outside of, well, there's that 3-2 win over Ottawa. They've won games 4-2, 4-3. Take out a couple of those high-scoring games, and the offensive production not consistent for St. Louis this year. They've been shut out 8 times in the 25 contests they've played so far.
27th minute, 0-0. It's a Fury throw as Campbell plays it inside the Ottawa half for Del Campo. Cross for McElhaney. Ahead towards Barden. Does well to keep it in play. Heads it for Howarth, back to Barden. Now Minicio. Halfway line. McElhaney. For Howarth. 2 white shirts in his way, and Mirkovic wins a free kick now for St. Louis. Usury Rudolph comes and has a chat with him. Well, I was in Montreal on the weekend, as you know, Graham Ivory, and
you had a good night.
One of my favorite things to do is use my grade 7 French. French immersion for 7 years. Went out for dinner. They asked if I wanted poutine. I said no, boeuf. And so, you know, I've struggled a little bit, but I give it an effort. I probably 80% understand, and they probably understand me about 20% of the time. Meantime, across the restaurant, I'm hearing someone with perfect French speaking all in French to the waiter. And it's Mike Watts. I didn't know he was in Montreal. I might have met up with Mike Watts, but you wouldn't believe how good Mike Watts' French is.
Oh, dear.
So went over, started speaking with him. Not only does he know French, he knows Serbian, Ukrainian, Gaelic, and about 6 other languages. Mandarin, that's not an easy one when you know Mandarin.
That explains the tattoo he has.
Well, it explains his knowledge of the international game, of the beautiful game. As Howarth goes down, and that'll be a free kick for Ottawa. And you can stay up to date with all the latest USL news and information from around the league. It's USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Mondays on SiriusXM FC Channel 85. Also, don't forget, SiriusXM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check uslsoccer.com for dates and times. And from what I understand, he might do the entire next broadcast in Portuguese.
Wowzers. That was like top 3 reads of the year. Easy.
St. Louis push this forward as Minicio gets back to win it for Ottawa in the 30th minute. 0-0.
Just a point on the previous play, AJ. Steven DeSantos gets put in the books for that foul, picking up the yellow card, and you can see some frustration from Julian de Guzman speaking with the linesman on the play. When you think of a couple of challenges that have gotten with warnings for St. Louis, and really the first one for Ottawa gets resulted in a booking for Steven DeSantos, as we once again have some questionable calls for what, third straight match?
Hume plays this on the left for Campbell. Campbell looks to get the cross in. Headed away as DeSantos was the target. Now Minicio a shot. That doesn't get through. Minicio again wins it. Plays it wide. Here's Barden on the right with a cross headed towards goal. What a save by Gorick. Oh, he absolutely robs Carl Howarth in the 31st minute. Howarth just cannot buy a goal this season. A great effort from Howarth on the terrific whipped in ball by Jonathan Barden, and Gorick with a save of the match.
What a save by the former Fury FC keeper, diving to his right to parry away the header from Carl Howarth. A great delivery from John Barden, AJ, but even better work by Sergio Minicio at the top of the box to keep the play alive not once but twice to earn Ottawa that opportunity. And yes, AJ, Carl Howarth remains snake-bitten on that tremendous save from Gorick.
He just cannot buy a goal. And again, said this before, it's not like he's getting opportunities and putting it 10 yards wide. And he is doing everything he can. He's hitting posts, he's hitting crossbars, he's being robbed. I mean, I put in my vote this week for USL Player of the Month, and my vote went to my favorite NASCAR/soccer name, Earl Edwards Jr. And how many times did Edwards Jr. rob Howarth earlier this month? Or last month, I guess now. Obasi plays this wide right to Barden. Now McElhaney. Wide left. Goes to Andre Campbell. Obasi. Plays this ahead. Howarth trying to get it onto his right foot. The shot, and again, Gorick makes the save. Now Barden with the cross. Here's a turn to Santos, and that deflects over the bar. Boy, Ottawa's doing everything but scoring here, and it will be an Ottawa corner.
Yeah, it's coming now, AJ, and Carl Howarth, another good effort, and parried away by Gorick.
And again,
rebound by DeSantos, stopped in close.
From 20 yards out, I mean, even with the frustration that I'm sure is built up for Carl Howarth, that was a great effort from 20 yards out, forcing a terrific save. As they're going to say a free kick.
Oh no, come on.
Yellow
this
card
is
as Gorick goes down, and
garbage officiating.
And the yellow card going against Ramon Martin Del Campo.
Yeah, he gets hurt on the play, but that's what the goalkeeper did, not what Ramon Martin Del Campo did. And he is beside himself, hands on head here. Oh, no way. I'm sorry, but that's another call gone the wrong way against Ottawa. No, he's already up in the air, and he's looking straight at the ball. That is a brutal call, and this is getting aggravating because we're 3 straight games now where we've had cards go against Ottawa that shouldn't be cards, missed handballs, missed fouls, missed penalties. And you can see Carl Howarth, who's once again wearing the captain's armband in place of the injured Lance Roseboom. Oh.
That's terrible.
Stop showing the replay. It gets more annoying when you see it.
Well, usually Rudolph, you know what? This is a good game for him, to be fair. I've watched him for 4 years, and this is about as quality officiating as you're going to get from Mr. Rudolph.
Yeah, well, we've only played 35 minutes.
So goal kick, sorry, free kick. Obviously on the dubious foul call. I mean, never mind dubious card, that's a dubious foul call. Gork sends us forward. It's headed back by Howarth. DeSantos goes after it. He goes down. Referee says play on. McElhaney, halfway line for Ottawa. Gets it back to the keeper, Callum Irving. 36th minute, 0-0 here at TD Place. As Howarth looks to get this wide right to Barden. It comes back to McElhaney at the halfway line. Now to Minicio. Shane McElhaney. Howarth looks to turn, but getting in his way is Howe. But Fury win possession. Here's DeSantos, wide left, Andre Campbell inside the penalty area. Campbell with the cross. It deflects back towards goal. It's still loose. Here's Barden. He lays it off, comes back to Minicio, and his shot deflects out for another Ottawa corner as Fury continue to press for the opening goal here in the 36th minute.
Andre Campbell with some great work down that left side and delivering it into the heart of the penalty area. Gorick can't contain the loose ball. A nice composure from both Barden and Howarth to then find Minicio for the effort from the edge of the penalty area.
Bruno with the left-footed in-swinging corner from the near corner flag. Here's the delivery. Plays it short, gets it back from Howarth. Now towards the back edge of the penalty area. Minicio trying to win this, and they're calling Del Campo for the foul. Seventh minute, 0-0. Fury desperate for 3 points here today, trying to close the gap to 3 on the teams sitting 7th and 8th in the USL East, holding down those last 2 playoff spots. This is one of their 2 matches in hand, so they do control their own playoff destiny. But 2 very difficult road games coming up against Rochester and Charlotte as Ottawa wins a free kick inside the St. Louis half. They take it quickly. Bruno wide right for Barden. Now Bruno towards Barden, but stepping up was Howe, and he'll win it for St. Louis. Now Jackson gives up possession. Barden for Bruno. Heavy touch and comes back towards DeSantos. DeSantos goes down, free kick Ottawa again inside the St. Louis half, taken quickly. Barden out wide on the right, trying to get to the byline against Howe, and he beats Howe. Now inside the penalty area, Barden beats another man, left-footed shot, and it's in!
Oh!
38th minute beauty from Jonathan Barden as he beats 2 defenders, and then Gorick with the left-footed drive on the near post. 1-0 Ottawa Fury FC.
Jonathan Barden with a highlight reel goal, skinning 2 defenders and making no mistake at the near post with everyone just waiting for the pass. Barden says goal and buries it. What a finish from the Englishman.
Well, that was the thing of beauty. And Fury are on the board, deservedly so. They have, especially in the last 15 minutes or so, really taken over this match, and we'll see if they can keep the foot on the gas and add to this 1-0 advantage. What a beauty from Jonathan Barden.
Well, and outside of the 1 goal that he scored when he played with Portland in the PDL, since turning pro, playing in Iceland and then coming to the nation's capital, that's his first professional goal for Jonathan Barden, and you couldn't have played it out any better than what we just saw from the Brit. What an incredible play down that right side, and he has been arguably one of Ottawa's best players so far this afternoon.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Was thinking the same thing even before he scored that goal, and that was an absolute highlight reel effort from Jonathan Barden. So 1-0 they lead, and now it's about holding the advantage. We're adding to the 1-0 lead. Led 1-0 against New York Red Bulls 2, then took a 2-1 lead on them before Ramon Martin Del Campo earned them a late point. Good ball here from DeSantos. Now to Campbell with a cross right at the edge of the 6, and it's cleared away. As Ottawa again attacking and trying to add to this lead. Here's Benicio for Bruna. Cross for Anwo Obasi. Pulls back and plays it to Del Campo. Wide on the right. Header won by Barden. And now Bruna called for the foul. Free kick, St. Louis inside their own half. Campbell wins it though. Andre Campbell, good work to get it back to Obasi. Now to Del Campo. And back to the keeper, Irving. 41st minute, 1-0 Fury. As Hume plays this out wide for man of the hour, Jonathan Barden. Now Bruna across for Andre Campbell on the left. He'll win an Ottawa throw. Take a long throw here. Carl Howarth using the towel to wipe the ball down. As Ottawa pushes 5 players inside that 18-yard box of St. Louis. Howarth's throw at least earns Ottawa a corner. That ball miss hit. And so Bruna will come across to take this left-footed outswinger as Ledbetter conceded that corner unnecessarily. Here's the outswinger from Bruna. Chested down by Howarth, back towards Barden. And Benicio does well to keep this alive for Ottawa's. They were looking to press forward. St. Louis on the counter. Comes ahead for Valesky. Now to Jackson. And good work by Bruna to win it back to Andre Campbell as Fury have had a lion's share of possession here in the latter part of this first half. The ball from McElhaney a little too strong, and this will be a goal kick in the 43rd minute for St. Louis. 1-0. Ottawa Fury FC leads.
Well, outside of the opening 10-12 minutes where St. Louis was the one pressing forward and having a lot more of the possession, Ottawa has really settled into this game, and in the last 15 minutes taken complete control with wave after wave of opportunity. But it's that second goal that is going to be a must for them this afternoon.
Here's Campbell pushing for it now just inside the penalty area, and Ledbetter does well to clear this out for an Ottawa throw. Comes in for Obasi. Del Campo to Irving. Over the head of Barden, it will be St. Louis throw near touchline, short of the halfway line. As we've got a minute plus first half stoppage time remaining until halftime. Campbell gets his head to that, and this will be a St. Louis throw. Hearing there will be a minimum of 2 minutes to be played at stoppage time. Hume battling for possession, and it's an Ottawa throw. Campbell takes it quickly. Bruno's ball deflects towards Barden. Now McElhaney ahead for Barden. As well to get this forward. Howarth goes after it, but cutting across is Cochran, although Ottawa regains possession. Ball delivered wide on the left towards Campbell, and just a little too strong from Bruno. This will be a St. Louis throw as we enter first half stoppage time. And there's the official word from the fourth official. 2 minutes to be played. St. Louis throw here. As they send it forward, and Obasi just lays it ahead to Tucker Hume. He goes down, and Del Campo maintains possession. It comes back to Irving. Sends it into the air. Header won by St. Louis. It comes across for Dalgard. Wide right for Jackson. Jackson with the cross inside the 6-yard box, and Irving not troubled by that as he sends it forward. Ottawa looks to counter quickly, and they've got their 50 seconds or so of stoppage time to add to this lead as it comes wide left for Andre Campbell through Obasi. His ball met and cleared away. And St. Louis trying to work it to Valesky. Del Campo moves it forward. Now Howarth takes on 2 defenders. St. Louis comes up with possession. It's Howe. Will shepherd it out for a throw. Cochran. His ball chested down by Del Campo. Comes back to Callum Irving. Obasi wide left for Campbell. Halftime whistle is upon us. Very good first half for Ottawa Fury FC. Piece of brilliance from Jonathan Barden gives Ottawa the much-deserved 1-0 halftime lead. Carl Howarth stopped a couple of times by Davala Goric, who was outstanding in that first half. We saw his shot-stopping skills in 2014, and let's hear now from Julian de
Fury
Guzman.
FC head coach Julian de Guzman. Julian, after such a dominating performance in the first half, how good does it feel to get that Jonathan Barden's goal?
Oh, it was excellent. I mean, finally deserved a moment like that, and you could cherish this for the first half. But, I mean, there's another 45 minutes left, and it's important that, we don't switch off for 1 second, so we can't allow these guys to get back into the game at all.
Knowing how important this game is in terms of playoff talk, how do you make sure your guys stay composed in the second half?
Yeah, it's important that we come out with the same intensity that we did in the first half, and for us, we know 1 goal is not enough. I think the guys have a lot of goals in their account, and I think it's about time now we start putting some more in the second half, because with the chances we've created, we've certainly looked a lot more confident.
Thanks, coach. Good luck in the second half.
All right, thank you.
There you have it, Julian de Guzman in conversation with Sanisha Sindic, and pretty good first half for Ottawa.
Yeah, look, we said at the start of the game that Ottawa needed a 90-plus minute performance, and I think it's safe to say that they've done very well through 45 minutes, but as Coach Julian de Guzman said, 1 goal isn't going to be enough. They certainly have a lot in their account. They need to cash in on some of those chances because they've come thick and fast, and the one guy who needs to cash in is Carl Howarth. If this guy can get a goal in this second half, Ottawa Fury FC will be off and running with 3 points here this afternoon.
Coming up at halftime, we'll see what's trending around USL with Tyler McDonald and Jenna Mosier. And we'll have a look at our first half stats as well. The halftime score, Ottawa Fury FC 1, St. Louis FC 0. Coming up next, you'll hear from Onwo Obasi in our player profile. This is Ottawa Fury FC Soccer.
My first memory, probably I went to an Aston Villa soccer school, or Aston Villa football school, they called it back in England. And my mom would send me every summer. I'd really, really look forward to it. Like, couldn't sleep the night before when I'd go, and just had a load of fun. You know, I'd play up the age groups, and just felt like, you know, it was one of the best feelings I had when I was a youngster. Just thinking back to it now. So that was it. That was my first memory. Was just dribbling around those fields at the soccer school. Still carry over a lot of traits from the futsal game, like the sole of the foot touch, and, you know, just cool and calm in possession, I like to think. Yeah, it was a great experience. I got into it playing for the national team, so I came in at a high level and played with some great players. One player in particular like taught me some really, really important moves that I was able to bring into the 11-a-side game. So, you know, I'm always thankful for that experience, because I don't think I'd be where I am today if I didn't play. Yeah, I was short growing up. Yeah, me and my brother both, we were short, and, you know, he shot up, and I was just praying that I would shoot up as well, and eventually I did. So when I was learning the skills, I was actually, you know, a shorter person, and so when I you know, finally developed my height and strength, it kind of all came together at the right time. I'm quite outspoken with my politics. I just feel as though it affects everyone's lives, and it's an area that a lot of people don't really want to talk about, but, you know, you see the things that are going on in the world, and I feel as though it could just be a much better place. So I feel as though politics is that route that you can kind of see how things maybe should be. And coming from England and, you know, being around Europe, I see how, you know, systems, and even in Canada, systems can be. And now I'm in America and I've got kids there. I feel as though, you know, I want the future to be as good for them as perhaps I had it. So yeah, I do enjoy politics. I feel it's important just to keep up to date with things, definitely.
Well, welcome to our halftime show. Jenna Mosier alongside me, Tyler McDonald. We take a look at what's trending here in the Eastern Conference. We're going to focus on today, as well, it's crunch time for everyone in the USL, trying to get those last few little points to get a playoff position. Take a look at the playoff picture going into this game and what each team has to do. It's getting very tight along where we are, the bottom half of the playoff picture, and then the top half, the team's trying to get in. And Coach Julian de Guzman also had here we take a look at the standings going towards the Eastern Conference. You see Ottawa Fury 6 points behind right now in 8th. St. Louis 5 points behind. You can tell how crucial a game of this, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And they just got to focus on winning. So take it half by half, play by play. Try not to get too caught up in the numbers. You never know what can happen. I mean, when you're coming to the end of the race here, it's a do or die situation for, you know, both St. Louis and Ottawa Fury and FC Cincinnati. You got to play every game like a playoff game from the beginning of the season even to now. So I think that's what we're going to see here in the next half, because I'm telling you, that first half was incredible. After the first 6 minutes, they were a bit disorganized. Once they got it together, you really noticed how they were playing as a team, for the team, attacking and defending in twos, and it's very refreshing.
We'll take a look now at what head coach Julian de Guzman had to say about the crunch time for Ottawa Fury FC.
It's crunch time, and I mean, moments like this, every point matters. So playing at home, it's mandatory to get results, and that's something the guys are well aware of. You know, for us to leave 2 points at home, you know, against New York was pretty disappointing. But you know, there has been a lot of positives that we continue to grow from, and going against St. Louis, it's huge that we get this victory, and something that we finally deserve after the positive performances we've been putting in the last couple of games.
Obviously, it's going to be very tough for Ottawa Fury, and they're going to have to play well, and like a win today would really help their scenario. But you have to think 6 points back as a former player. Just your thoughts on what these players are trying to do and their mentality going in to get that 8th spot.
You know, you can't get down on yourself. You can't feel defeated. You've got to, sometimes, you know, being down actually inspires players and has them step up to the plate. So it's just a matter of how they're dealing with it in the locker room, how they're going to deal with it on the field. And I think we're seeing such positive growth since de Guzman came in and stepped in as head coach.
And we're seeing over the past few games as well, we take a look at some of the highlights from that New York game as well. And it's just, there's been a lot more passing, a lot more possession-wise, and we've seen that today as well. And that's been the key part of that first half for Ottawa Fury, and finally getting that opportunity of creating chances, and then they convert with the Jonathan Barden goal. What do you see from that first half that Fury have to take into the second half, or is it just more of the exact same of what they've done?
I think it's more of the exact same, except for as soon as the kickoff at the second half goes, they need to come out hard. They need to come out hard right away and stay consistent. But as long as they keep this mentality and keep playing together as a team, whether it's on defense or offense, I think you're going to see great results by the end of this game.
We've also seen St. Louis put lots of pressure along the back three of Ottawa Fury FC. Looked for them to do that in the second half as they look to try and steal a couple points here from TD Place. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have second half action. Ottawa Fury FC leading 1-0 over St. Louis FC. This is Ottawa Fury FC Soccer.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Week 23 of the 2017 USL regular season was one for the record books. 5 midweek matchups took center stage as the league's total attendance record was shattered. Wednesday night saw the USL surpass the 1.5 million mark in total attendance, pushing past 2016's total attendance in just 6.5 weeks after the league passed the 1 million mark. FC Cincinnati continues to lead the league in average attendance with more than 20,000 fans per game, with Sacramento Republic FC not far behind. But notably this season, the league has more than doubled its number of teams averaging more than 5,000 fans per game, with 9 clubs above that mark. Those 9 teams, which include newcomers Reno 1868 FC, Ottawa Fury FC, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, sit in the top 11 in average attendance nationally outside Major League Soccer. With the season pushing on, the 2 million attendance mark is on the horizon. As the race for the 2017 USL Cup playoffs heats up, the league's fans are not cooling down. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
Why do you not get me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey, she's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
And back comes New York Red Bulls 2. Here's below with a shot.
Oh, what a save
by Irving. Comes back, and Irving makes another save. This one
as we near intermission. Endo, ball gets through and a great left-handed save by Mizell. That one had a chance to get inside. Charlotte trying to equalize. This is a good way to do it. Enzo Martinez, the shot, the rebound is there. Can he get it off? And just over the goal, Lewis Hilton was right in front on top of the 6.
What an amazing run from Enzo Martinez. Great defensive effort from the captain of Toronto FC2, Tainter. It deflects into Cavaluso. Somehow he keeps it out of net. Bodies hitting the floor. There was Bender, there was Hilton.
And welcome back inside TD Place. AJ Jakubek alongside Graham Ivory, the halftime score. It's Ottawa Fury FC 1, St. Louis FC 0. Pretty good first half for Ottawa Fury FC as we get set for our television audience. The first half highlights for Budweiser, and we'll see a lot of Ottawa Fury FC chances, including a couple of great saves from Devala Gorak, the ex-Fury keeper, off his old teammate Carl Howarth, still looking for his first goal in USL, and a brilliant goal from Jonathan Barden to give Fury FC the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, look, it was one-way traffic for the last 15, 20 minutes of that opening half, and the chances once that first one came off the head of, I think it was Onwo Obasi on that free kick from Gerardo Bruna. Then you saw Carl Howarth get a couple of chances. Steven DeSantos was in there. Andre Campbell missed one that he was looking top corner. Then you saw the brilliant goal from John Barden, and then the chances kept on coming. Ottawa really coming out of that first half on the front foot, and outside of some early chances from St. Louis, and that was the opening one that was squandered by the visitors, then really it was all Ottawa and outshooting the visitors 10-3 through the opening 45 minutes. And if not for a couple of big saves from Devala Gorak and a couple of missed chances, you think of the one from Andre Campbell, well, this game could have been over through 45.
Yeah, no question. And how about Jonathan Barden? I mean, given a great opportunity, I mean, he certainly played under Paul Dalglish and was an important part of this Fury team, but you look at how he's performed these last 5 matches, and it really seems like he's getting better with each effort. And I mean, that was just an absolutely brilliant goal that is one of the USL plays of the week, I'm sure.
So part of, I think, what's changed for Ottawa Fury FC is the consistency, and the consistency in that starting 11. 6th straight start now for Jonathan Barden, 9th straight appearance here today, and you start to, like, look, before that goal, he definitely would have been running for man of the match, at least through 45 minutes. Then you see that goal, and he's really put himself kind of in contention to be man of the match here this afternoon with the way that he's played. He's looked so good down that right side, and we've seen him playing more at the right back with some injuries of late, but now that he's kind of moved into that more advanced spot on the right side in the midfield for Ottawa, he's looked even more dangerous going forward.
So we do have a substitution to start this second half for St. Louis. Seth Rudolph, who's their joint top scorer with 5 goals alongside Christian Valesky. Well, he'll join Valesky up top as Daniel Jackson makes way for Rudolph. 5 goals each for Rudolph and Valesky on the season. Rudolph played in Sweden before joining St. Louis FC. The other 6 subs: Tyler David, Milan Pitasevich, Tyler Feely, Wesley Sharpie, Amir Alihodzic. Adam Grinwis is the backup keeper. Their 11 now looks like this: Devala Gorak at the back. The keeper, you got the back 4 of Howe, Cochran, Pleva, and Ledbetter. Bjurman, Mirkovic, Walls, and Dalgard in midfield. And it's now Rudolph and Valesky up top. For Ottawa, Callum Irving, the keeper, in a 3-4-3 with Obasi, Del Campo, and McElhaney at the back. Campbell, Bruna, Minicio, Barden in midfield, Howarth, Hume, and Dos Santos up top. And the available subs for Ottawa Fury FC, backup keepers David Pomet. A couple of defenders, and Kyle Venter and Eddie Edward. You got Jamar Dixon, Cito, Adonijah Reed, and Azake Lubuyera. As Fury attack right to left in the second half with their all-red home kits, the red shirts, red shorts, and red socks. It's the all-white with the blue stripe for St. Louis as Campbell looks to get this cross in towards the back post, and it is headed clear. 48th minute, 1-0 Fury. Played forward towards DeSantos and couldn't get to that, and it will be Gorick who just holds onto it for St. Louis. So much on the line for both these sides here today. The winner will be in 11th place ahead of the loser, which will be in 12th. If it's a draw, St. Louis will stay in 11th. Ottawa will stay in 12th. But more important, just 3 points from an Ottawa perspective if they can hang on to them. Not only do they vault St. Louis, they'd be 2 back of Bethlehem and Pittsburgh and 3 back of the teams currently 7th and 8th. That's New York Red Bulls 2 and FC Cincinnati with a game in hand after today on both. So certainly if Ottawa can win, they can inch closer to a playoff spot, and I think more important, just control their own playoff destiny. With 2 very difficult road matches ahead at Rochester and at Charlotte. It's next Saturday in Rochester, 6:05 start, and then they head to the Sportsplex in Charlotte on September the 16th before returning home for another Sunday tilt, 2 o'clock start on the 24th of September against Louisville City FC, another top 4 side. It's number 4, 2, and 1 in the standings in USL East, the opposition in the next 3 matches.
When you look at that opposition, AJ, you know that you really need to claim all 3 points here this afternoon, and Julian de Guzman spoke about it during his halftime interview with Sinisha Shindik, just about the importance of that next goal and how he knows that they have it in them. But that second goal will be the crucial one here this afternoon, and you don't want that second goal of the match to come from the visitors to give them any inkling of confidence after a very strong finish in that opening half.
Fury in possession here, 50th minute, up 1-0. It's Bruna ahead wide left for Campbell. 30 yards out. Back into the middle for Minicio, wide left for Obasi. Plays this forward for Bruna. Back to Obasi. Center circle, Shane McElhaney. Wide right, Jonathan Barden. Ahead for Carl Howarth. At the byline, Howarth chips it into the penalty area. It is cleared away. And good work diving was Bruna to win that ball. Now Obasi wide left. Andre Campbell whips in the cross. It's punched away by Gorick. Chested down and kept in play. St. Louis looked to attack, but get this forward towards Bjurman, and goes out now for a St. Louis throw in the 51st minute. Howarth now to Andre Campbell. Back inside the Ottawa half, it's Del Campo now to the keeper, Irving. He'll send it long. Chested down by Hume. Hume trying to leave it there, and it comes to DeSantos wide left for Campbell. Here's Andre Campbell onto his right foot, and shot was blocked as conceding the corner was Seth Rudolph, so it'll be an Ottawa corner near corner flag in the 52nd minute, leading 1-0. Gerardo Bruna comes across to take it. This will be a left-footed outswinger. 6 players inside the 18-yard box for Ottawa. 2 of them inside the 6. Here's the delivery from Bruna. Takes a bounce, and diving is Gorick. It comes right back on the right side, and that shot goes wide. And again, it's Carl Howarth. And you can just see the frustration from Howarth. He's been robbed twice already today. And that one just unable to put on target.
Well, he had to get it on frame, but it was going to be tough as there was a sea of bodies in front of him, both opposing players and his teammates.
Howarth going after this ball here, and it's played wide on the right side by Barden to Howarth. Howarth towards Barden. Can he keep it in play? He does. Into the 6, it comes to Howarth. And this is cleared out for an Ottawa throw. And we'll see the second substitution here early in the second half for St. Louis. Mats Bjurman will be replaced by Milan Pitasevic. Definitely a strong Serbian connection with Preki, the head coach. Pitasevic joins Mirkovic, another Serb on the pitch right now. You've got Tyler Feely, an American, that played on the Serbian under 17 and under 18 sides. Hume gets this wide left towards Obasi. 20 yards out, he'll pull it back. Obasi now into the middle. 2 white shirts on him, just gets it back to Andre Campbell. Wide left, McElhaney. Showing that poise he's got on the ball. Cross for Minicio. Wide right, Barden, chested down, back to Sergio Minicio, trying to play through Barden. He's battling far touchline with A.J. Cochran, and Cochran wins a throw for St. Louis. St. Louis goes forward here on the right side and went off to Santos, who tried valiantly to keep this in play, but it goes out for a St. Louis throw. The one good thing, again, from an Ottawa perspective, if they can get the 3 points today and win some matches down the stretch, goal difference is really going to work in their favor with any type of situation where 2 teams are tied. A win today, even if it's only by 1, puts them with a better goal difference than any of the sides 7 through 15. So they won't lose too many tie-breaking scenarios as Minicio intercepts this, takes a shot from distance about 25 yards out and forces Gorick into another save. Sergio Minicio puts one on target there for Ottawa.
Minicio, since coming into the starting lineup for the club, has looked tremendous in that role, and already today we've seen him have 2 dangerous attempts on goal. The other one knocked away for a corner, and that one forcing a big save from Davala Gorick yet again.
Here's Bruna now into the middle of the park for Minicio. Center circle, it's Shane McElhaney. As bowled over is Carl Howarth, and that'll be a free kick for Ottawa about 40 yards out. Take it quickly for McElhaney. Center circle, Del Campo. Bruna going forward, trying to play through Barden on the right, and this is cleared out for a St. Louis throw off Barden by Sebastian Dalgard. This throw deflects out off Pitasevich, and this will be an Ottawa throw now. Here's DeSantos for Howarth. Comes back to Gorick, and here in the 58th minute, 1-0 Ottawa Fury FC. Second goal would be huge. No matter what level you're watching, when a team's down a goal to nil, even if they're being dominated, all it takes is one counter, one stroke of brilliance, one stroke of controversy to get a team back in the match, as Benicio is fouled, and it'll be an Ottawa free kick near the halfway line. But you get that second goal, and the way this match has played out here today, I'm not sure St. Louis is coming back from 2-0 down. But still lots to play for here as Fury have possession inside their own half. Del Campo towards Jonathan Barden, chests it down. Now McElhaney back to the keeper, Irving. High into the air, Hume goes up for it and comes wide on the left for Campbell. Campbell towards DeSantos, and coming off his line to dive on it is Davala Gorick. Obasi plays it back to the Ottawa keeper, Irving. Sends it past the halfway line. Headed out of touch by Pleva. This will be an Ottawa throw. 4,059 the attendance here today. As Fury push forward through Howarth. Wide right, Barden. Plays it to the edge of the 6 and cleared out for a throw by A.J. Cochran. This will be a long throw from Carl Howarth. Howarth gets this in play to Barden. Puts it towards goal from 20 yards out and didn't miss by much, as Jonathan Barden says, why not? I'll give this a go again and go for goal number 2. Goal kick, St. Louis.
Another good effort from Jonathan Barden, and as you say, the opportunities are coming for Ottawa Fury FC, but they need to make sure that that second goal is theirs and not something that St. Louis is able to claim on a counter here. Ottawa's done a very good job of maintaining possession throughout the course of this match, and finally a booking for the visitors.
So Yuzuri Rudolph gives the yellow card to Christian Valesky. I've just found out that total wins and not goal difference is the first tiebreaker in USL. So that's maybe not going to help Ottawa's cause, because right now a win today would give them 8.
Well, it does in the sense of, look, you know where they are and you know where they need to get to, and for them to get there, it's going to take wins, not draws. So ultimately, you know, the other tiebreakers could very well play a factor, because they're going to have to win a good chunk of these remaining games to get where they want to be. Great run by Campbell.
Campbell dispossesses his man to win possession back for Ottawa Fury here in the 62nd minute, leading 1-0. It's the old traditionalist in me, but I can't say I love the tiebreaker.
Yeah,
I'm just a fan of goal difference. That's what you grow up on, watching the European league. So And I understand North America is different, and you don't have, it's not a schedule where it's balanced, and you need playoffs. And from that perspective, I also like it. I'm not saying everything's got to be like it is in Europe, but free kick Ottawa as Campbell is fouled inside the Fury half. That's just the old traditionalist in me, though. But certainly good to know. And the one thing, if they do win the 2 matches in hand, this one today and their next one, they're on 9 wins. St. Louis 8, Pittsburgh 8, Bethlehem 10, Cincinnati 9, New York Red Bulls 2-10. So in the mix with New York and Bethlehem. And then they would certainly win tiebreakers against any of the other teams, because I'm guessing goal difference would be after that, and that's where Ottawa would have the edge.
But to your point of goal difference, I think that's a positive mark for how, your team is playing or how they're performing. When you look at where Ottawa's at, just -2, now -1 with where the score line currently holds today. St. Louis, they're -11, Pittsburgh -1, Bethlehem -1, Cincinnati -2, New York Red Bulls 2 -3, and then everybody above them in the table all has a positive goal difference.
Ooh, mistake here and an opportunity in front of goal from Valesky, and Valesky stopped from close range by Callum Irving in the 64th minute, and that's what I was talking about earlier. You can have all the play going your way, but you're one mistake away from being level, and Valesky almost had St. Louis a goal against the run of play right there.
Well, Martin Del Campo owes his goalkeeper a huge favor there as a bit of a mishap on the clearance, bailed out by Irving.
And now Cochran comes in to put his head to this corner and deflect it off an Ottawa defender last. So another corner from the near corner flag, a left-footed in-swinger coming in from Ryan Howe.
We've got Cochran and Pleva both at 6'3", trying to get on the end of something.
Howe to the edge of the penalty area, plays it across, comes to McElhaney, and that poise in front of goal, even 2 yards in front of goal, as all this effort from about 40 yards out is in. Wow, what an equalizing goal that is from Seth Rudolph in the 65th minute, about 40 yards out, and he labeled it off the bar and in, and we are tied 1-1.
Well, after Ottawa looked to have cleared the trouble inside the penalty area, Rudolph makes no mistake from distance, launching one, and that one clipping off the fingertips of Callum Irving, the underside of the bar and in, and we're dead level through 65 minutes. What an effort.
Yeah, he caught that absolutely perfectly.
Well, the ball just checked up from him nicely on that battle with Gerardo Bruna in the midfield.
So there it is. About 2 minutes of strong play from St. Louis, and they had an opportunity from Valesky that was thwarted from close range by Irving, then a corner. And then another corner, and then just when I thought Ottawa had alleviated the pressure from 40 yards out, Rudolph with a spectacular goal. We've seen 2 beauties here today as Del Campo clears this, and now Ottawa on the back foot as Minicio plays this to the halfway line. St. Louis back in possession. Howe ahead on the left side, and Vidasevich goes after it. It's sent back to goal by Del Campo, and Ottawa will look to regroup here. Irving ahead for Campbell, halfway line, near touch line. Campbell making this run. Lays it off for DeSantos, back to Bruna, has a little space in front of him. Elects to go diagonal to the right towards Barden, chested down by Howe. And Barden commits the foul, free kick. St. Louis, as we now enter the 68th minute here at TD Place. 1-1 the score.
Jonathan Barden voicing his frustration with the official Yusri Rudolph. And at one point you could have had that foul going against John Barden as he tried to come away with the ball before he did himself commit a foul.
St. Louis attacking now. As that ball deflects off Benicio and they say handball.
Unbelievable.
So free kick, and Mirkovic takes this and looks to chip the keeper Irving. Not happening this time, and it'll be a 69th.
Oh my goodness.
69th minute goal kick for Ottawa. Don't worry, it didn't matter.
Listen, I can understand if a guy tries to chest the ball and you say, oh, I thought it was closer to the arm than it was the chest. It's off his flipping forehead. Like, and this guy's officiated what, 8-9 games at TD Place this year, probably 25 since the club's existed.
Well, too many.
No, but I'm serious, and this is what you get continued. Where's the development, right? Good grief.
'70th minute now, 1-1 as Vidasevic is fouled by Benicio. So free kick, this will be about 40 yards out. Right around the distance where they scored from. This will be delivered into the penalty area. Across from Ryan Howe. Here's the delivery from Howe. Towards the back post and unable to keep that in play. So this will be a goal kick now for Ottawa. Here's the bottom line. Fury are, ever since 2 minutes before the equalizing goal, they've been second best here after being the better team throughout this match, and they have to find a way to turn that back into their favor here in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, they lost that possession on they were hitting on the counter attack, and then they lose possession with numbers going forward, and St. Louis able to hit on that counter, which did result in that equalizer. And you're right, AJ, it's been all St. Louis ever since.
Campbell concedes a free kick, and St. Louis will take this inside their own half. Benicio gets ahead to it, but here's Dalgard, which sends this wide left. Howe taking on Barden, and Barden concedes the throw. Well, here's the first substitution coming now for Ottawa Fury FC, and Carl Howarth will make way for Adonijah Reed up front. One Canadian replaces another. 18-year-old Reed with 1 goal this year for Ottawa Fury since coming over from FC Dallas.
As Howarth comes out, passes the captain's armband to goalkeeper Callum Irving. And yet another strong performance from Carl Howarth, who remains snake-bitten on finding that first goal of the season. Not for a couple of impressive saves from Deval Agoric, he might have opened his scoring account today.
6th appearance for Adonijah Reed with the 1 goal. Here's Minicio for Ottawa, now to Bruna. Able to work past a couple of defenders, gets this ahead on the left, but it's a skim along the wet turf here at TD Place. It'll be a St. Louis throw near their own corner flag, near touchline. 73rd minute, 1-1. Played wide left for Howe. They'll head towards Pitasevich. Back for it is McElhaney, back to Irving. Now Del Campo. Minicio. McElhaney, back to Irving. Headed by Cochran. Barden goes up for it. Wins it for Reed. Now Minicio. De Santos. Goes back into the middle, Bruna. Lots of space for Obasi here on the left. Plays this wide for Andre Campbell, who cuts into the middle. He's fouled. And a free kick from about 20 yards out, and this will be a yellow card as well. Or maybe not a yellow card, just the spray from Usury Rudolph. But it is a free kick, a very dangerous spot. .22 yards out. Just a little left of the edge, left of the edge of the 18-yard box. And Bruna's going to whip this in unless we see a surprise from Adonijah Reed. It is Bruna with the delivery and a good one, and it's headed over the bar from close range. That was Tucker Hume who got his head to it. Goal kick here in the 75th minute, 1-1 the score.
You can see now St. Louis trying to grind the pace of this game down now that they've got their equalizer. They know they're not going to be running this game like we've seen Ottawa for the majority of it, but they have been able to hit on the counter. If they can get that ball out wide, that's where they seem to be very effective.
Fury goal kick coming up here. We've got a quarter of an hour left plus stoppage time. St. Louis have used 2 of their 3 available subs, but looks like Wesley Sharpie's getting some final instructions on the St. Louis side from Preki, and Ottawa again with 2 subs available for use by Julian de Guzman. I have to think Cito might be one of those players used by Ottawa, second in goals with 5 on the season, and this will be a free kick for Ottawa's. No doubt about that. Well, Campo was knocked over right near the byline.
Well, you'd have to think in a game where you need goals, you're likely going to see Cito, perhaps Zake Lubuyera, and perhaps even a guy like Eddie Edward, although while his veteran experience and his pace would be an advantage, just depends on how the training week went after he's missed a bit of training time due to the passing of his father.
So it's Sebastian Dalgard out, Wesley Sharpie in. And St. Louis has used their full complement of subs. Ottawa throw here just inside their own half, 77th minute. Ottawa Fury FC 1, St. Louis FC 1. Obasi gets this in play for Hume. Comes to Bruna. For Minicio, and he's caught in possession. And here comes St. Louis with numbers. Sent wide, Pitasevich, and it's 2-1. Milan Pitasevich. As Howe got it across. Ottawa caught in possession, and St. Louis makes them pay in the 78th minute. 2-1 St. Louis FC.
Well, we talked about it way too much to start this half, AJ, with the opportunities that Ottawa was having and not being able to bury them. And then just a bad giveaway in the midfield as Sergio Minicio couldn't control the pass, and then St. Louis away with numbers. And the substitute Milan Pitasevich buries the 2-1 goal in the 78th minute. And the visitors now lead 2-1. And all the pressure on Ottawa Fury FC here to finish.
Everything looked like it was in control for Ottawa Fury FC, but the last quarter of an hour of all, it's been one-way traffic the other way for St. Louis. And Ottawa find their way back as Adonijah Reed is fouled hard by Pleva, and this is going to be...
No, he's selling that one. That's a
free
studs-up challenge.
Free kick about just beyond 28 yards out. And this is going to be a very dangerous spot for a free kick for Ottawa Fury.
Look at that. If that's not a yellow card, then...
So Pleva down, Reed is up. And Jamar Dixon is waiting at the touchline as he's about to be the second substitute brought in by Julian de Guzman for Ottawa Fury. And it's going to be Sergio Minicio coming off as Dixon will replace him. So Pleva heads to the touchline, and he's running now, and fortunate that he didn't get some sort of card out of that. As here's the free kick from Bruna right into the wall. Minicio plays this wide right for Barden. Back to Minicio. His cross towards Hume. And it's punched out by Gorick. Now an effort from distance. That from Bruna, and this follow-up from Del Campo is over the bar as Gorick is down inside the 6-yard box for St. Louis. And this will be a goal kick for St. Louis FC. So here comes Jamar Dixon to replace Minicio. And Cito is getting some instructions at the bench as well. And he's going to be the third and final sub for Ottawa. '81st minute, 2-1 St. Louis. So goal kick as Gorick is back on his feet and send this low towards the halfway line, flicked on towards Pitasevich. Man with a go-ahead goal. Comes back to Irving, and he'll play it back to the center circle. He's climbing all over Tucker Hume as AJ Cochran. Free kick just inside the St. Louis half. And Fury take this quickly. Barden, McElhaney. Dixon for Obasi. Now Dixon. Bruna. He goes down. Referee says play on, and Oleski moves this wide left. Howe from distance. Flag is up against Pitasevich. Offside, St. Louis. So Cito will replace Onwo Bassi. And that's the third and final sub for Ottawa, and that's someone's going to move back. I would guess Barden.
Andre
or
Campbell
into the back three. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll move into that left back role.
So Ottawa desperate for at least one goal here to earn something out of this match, but really needing 3. See if they can get the 1 point first. Here's Del Campo inside the Ottawa half. Pitasevich has really been a thorn in Ottawa's side since coming on as a second half substitute.
He has, no question, changed this game with how he's played, and we've kind of starting off kind of in the heart of the midfield, but now really playing that high line, and that's a big body to contend with as well for Ottawa.
84th minute goal kick for St. Louis. Headed out of touch by Barden. Will Ottawa regret those first half misses where 1-0 flattered St. Louis FC? Sent towards Tucker Hume. Now to Steven Dos Santos. Ahead for Andre Campbell. And Campbell has some space as he works his way into the St. Louis half. Plays it across towards Adonai Jareed, but intercepted, and St. Louis looks to counter. And Howe, he's been so dangerous here in the second half for St. Louis FC. Ryan Howe now just stops and holds it up, and they're comfortable in possession as Mirkovic gets it back to the halfway line. Mirkovic ahead towards Pitasevich, but that's gathered by Callum Irving. And he will drop it down before booting this forward deep into the St. Louis half. 86th minute, 2-1 St. Louis. As Campbell is fouled inside the Ottawa half. Free kick near touchline. In the middle, Del Campo. Now for McElhaney. Del Campo. Andre Campbell back to goal, and Irving will launch this deep. Flicked on by Hume. Good run by Cito. Here's Cito. He's down, and what's the call?
Yes,
it is a penalty here.
Is.
Cito earns a penalty as the referee Rudolph points to the spot. So Ottawa with an opportunity here in the 87th minute to equalize.
Yeah, Ledbetter, only contact with Cito, wasn't able to get to the ball.
And Ottawa arguing that he was the last man, that it should be a red card.
Well, it's definitely a yellow card, no question. But I guarantee you they weren't going to get the red, not with how this game's been officiated.
Pavel Goric playing some mind games here with Steven Dos Santos. Rudolph points back to the line for Goric, and Dos Santos will step up for Ottawa Fury FC with his penalty to try and tie this game 2-2. Rudolph directing traffic outside the 18-yard box. 88th minute penalty. Steven DeSantos steps up and he puts it into the back of the net, and we are tied 2-2 as Ottawa up a goal, down a goal, and they are level now. We'll see if they can push on, get one more and all 3 points.
4 straight game with goals for Steven DeSantos as he buries the penalty kick right down the middle. 7th goal of the season. And now can Ottawa leverage the equalizer into some added energy going forward and find a winner.
88th minute, and they've got possession now. As Fury go forward here, and it's Cito again, as Cito was the one who created that penalty opportunity for Ottawa. Couldn't get past the St. Louis defense, and here's Peter Savic. Moves this wide right. Good play there by McElhaney to break things up. Now McElhaney, halfway line, goes to ground. No foul called, and St. Louis attacks as they work this into the middle. Mirkovic, as Campbell is flattened, and that'll be a free kick for Ottawa now in the 89th minute. Both teams have used all 3 of their subs. So Irving will take this free kick just outside the 18-yard box for Ottawa. As we now enter the 90th minute here at TD Place. With the rain coming down, 2-2 the score. This ball chested down by Hume towards DeSantos, just outside the St. Louis penalty area. Now to Barden. Barden cuts into the middle. Barden still with it. Barden, left-footed shot, deflects, and this is going to go out for a corner here for Ottawa as Jonathan Barden continues to play brilliantly for Ottawa. Cito will leave this for Bruna. Near corner flag, it'll be a left-footed outswinger. Ottawa with 6 players inside the 18-yard box. Here's the delivery from Bruna, and it can't get past the first defender. It comes back to Bruna though. Bruna with a cross, it's low, comes back to Barden. Moves this wide on the right, and this is sent out for another Ottawa corner, this time far. Corner flag as we're getting word 4 minutes, a minimum of 4 minutes of stoppage time to be played. We are through the 90 here at TD Place. Bruno with the left-footed in-swinging corner. Here's the delivery, and it's headed away. That one by Walls. It comes back towards the halfway line. Campbell running miles and does well to ensure that goes out for a St. Louis throw. Throw here, headed back out for another St. Louis throw by Barden. Just over 30 seconds into stoppage time. St. Louis FC looking for a long throw here. Both teams desperate for 3 points and not one. Try and push closer to the playoff race. That effort from distance goes wide for an Ottawa goal kick into the 92nd minute now. Another 3 minutes of stoppage time to be played. 2-2 the score. Callum Irving with the goal kick. DeSantos goes up for the header. It's headed away by Rudolph. And an Ottawa throw here. Campbell. Gets this in for Tucker Hume. Hume able to beat one defender. Hume byline with a cross, and it's punched away by Gorick. And this is going to be a throw for Ottawa right near the near corner flag. Still with another 2 minutes of stoppage time to be played as Tucker Hume with a long throw. Flicked on. Good work by Del Campo getting his head to that. As it comes back towards Del Campo inside the 18-yard box, cleared away. Barden, and on the right side, Reed. Offside flag is down. Reed with a cross, and that's cleared.
Needed to hit it first time when it came to him.
And Pitasevich looks to counter for St. Louis, and they've been dangerous on the counters. That ball for Howe met by Campbell, who's bumped by Howe. Free kick Ottawa. 90 seconds left of stoppage time. Entertaining game here today at TD Place. As this ball comes center circle, Barden is tackled, and that'll be a free kick just beyond the center circle inside the St. Louis half. Fury take it quickly. Bruno out wide to Del Campo, now Reed. Barden for McElhaney. McElhaney back to Irving. Towards Campbell. Pitasevich wins it away from him, and here's Howe, and very important work from Dixon to get it away. Dos Santos now for Ottawa Fury FC. Halfway line. Another 30 seconds to go in stoppage time. This could be it for Ottawa. Their last chance as it's sent wide right. Barden with a cross, headed towards goal, and just over the bar from 7 yards out. Great effort from Tucker Hume, but he couldn't keep it down, couldn't get it on target. Goal kick St. Louis, and it looks like the spoils will be shared here today at TD Place.
Great delivery again from John Barden, and Hume just couldn't get over top of the ball enough. And you'll be happy with coming back to salvage the point on the day. But you can certainly see the frustration and heartbreak on the faces of some of the Fury FC players. A game where they outshoot the opposition by a mark of 20-7. But they couldn't finish some of those, or the numerous first half chances they had, and ultimately I think that really is what proves to be the difference here this afternoon.
Well, very entertaining game here this afternoon, and Ottawa now 5 points back of a playoff spot. They do have a game in hand and some very difficult opposition next, but let's have a look at our man of the match, and we have to go with the man who scored the brilliant opening goal, and he was fantastic all match. Jonathan Barden.
Yeah, look, Jonathan Barden was already having a man of the match type performance before he got the goal, and then that was an absolute thing of brilliance for a guy. And what a way to score your first professional goal in the fashion that Jonathan Barden did. He was all over the right side of the pitch for Ottawa today, set up number of chances that came off his right boot, and of course the one that he scored off his left foot. Fantastic game from Jonathan Barden, and we've been seeing this, the consistency of the lineup that Julian de Guzman has been fielding. There's a lot more familiarity, unity, if you will, in this team, and it's unfortunate that they can only come away with a single point in the 2-2 draw, but a phenomenal game from Jonathan Barden this afternoon.
Let's have a look at our next match, and it comes to you 6 days from now in Rochester. 6:05 start at the Capelli Sports Stadium as they visit the Rochester Rhinos, and as you can see, 3 difficult matches coming up: at Rochester, at Charlotte, and then home Sunday, September 24th against Louisville. 3 teams in the top 4 in USL East, but 5 points out of a playoff spot with a game in hand. Ottawa's got to find a way probably to win a couple of them.
Yeah, no question. Tough sledding in terms of the opposition that you have, but this time of year, regardless of where you are in the standings, every game is going to be a tough game, and make no mistake about it, those teams that they're going to be playing, they have a lot to play for as well. They want to make sure that they're in that top 4 to have home field advantage for at least the opening round, if not to win the Eastern Conference. With some of those teams that they're going to be playing, they're still in the running for that. So definitely difficult opposition, AJ. But Ottawa, I think, has always done well against difficult opponents this season, and no different than what we saw today. So many games have been decided by a goal or less. The margin for error is so slight, And really, I think for Ottawa, it's just going to be about bearing the chances. They've had numerous chances, even in that 3-game road trip, not coming away with a victory. You bury 1 or 2 of those opportunities that you have in the game, and there you go. That's the difference. You're turning losses into draws, draws into wins, and you're in a much different situation.
That does it for our broadcast this afternoon. On behalf of our entire crew, our producer Mike Sutherland, for Jenna Mosier and Tyler McDonald and Graham Ivory, I'm AJ Jakubek saying so long. Final score this afternoon from TD Place. It's Ottawa Fury FC 2, St. Louis FC 2. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you have yourself a great long weekend. This has been Ottawa Fury FC Soccer.
This copywritten telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.